know. So I'll just read the statement for those who have not heard, because we haven't done it in a while. Real or fake? It's a segment where if the statement I read is real to you, if you think it's true, if you're like, yo, I rock with it, it's real. If you do not like the statement, if you're like, yo, this is complete BS, then the statement is fake. You know what I mean? Real or fake. So with that said, Senor Boosie Badass has been in the news this week. He's been making his little media rounds with his videos. So, yo, long story short, there's the whole thing with Dwyane Wade. His family and his trans daughter, I want to say, make their decisions with supporting their 12-year-old transitioning into being a girl or woman, daughter. So Boosie had some things to say about it. Long story short, right? If you haven't seen the video, he pretty much says if he's gay, that's fine. Just don't cut his dick off or whatever, you know? So you guys can see the video for the full thing. But he went into a Planet Fitness after making this video. I think it was the next day. And Planet Fitness kicked him out. So the statement, real or fake? Planet Fitness is wrong for kicking Boosie Badass out of their facility because of his comments on Dwyane Wade's trans daughter. Planet Fitness is wrong for kicking Boosie Badass out of their facility because of his comments on Dwyane Wade's trans daughter. Real or fake? All right. Yo, I can start with this one. I think that is fake. I don't rock with that. It's an internet video. It's a social media video. You know what I mean? Any accountability on his end, it's his decision to put that video up in this time. So I guess he kind of like, it's I mean, that's on him at the end of the day, but I don't think that they should kick him out for that. That's just a public, it has nothing to do with Planet Fitness, has nothing to do with working out, unless he like made a loud statement or something in Planet Fitness that intentionally disrespected somebody. I just don't feel like they had to kick him out. I think that they're kind of corny for that. So I'm gonna go with fake, but that's
But
me.
You said the statement is it's wrong for them to kick him out. So
my apologies.
That means it would be real,
it's real
for you. Yeah.
My apologies. So the statement is real. I fucked up. Who wants to take it?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
I actually disagree with you for one reason, though. Read the statement just so I make sure I'm saying real or fake correctly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Just got to make sure real quick.
Yo, Planet Fitness is wrong for kicking Boosie Badass out of their facility because of his comments on Dwyane Wade's trans daughter.
Okay. Fake.
Okay.
And I don't believe they're wrong for what they did. However, I low-key agree with Boosie's statement. However, it doesn't mean what he said doesn't cause harm to other people. And because of that, Planet Fitness does have to look at their customers and their clientele. And if a person like Boosie is in their facility and he's a known rapper, right? And he's saying things that could be interpreted as transphobic. And I'm assuming that Planet Fitness must be with high-end clientele. So they're probably like, Boosie, you're done. They can't even take that chance to even entertain a little Boosie in their facility. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I feel like they're justified in that decision. Even though I agree with the spirit of his statement, I'll say that. However, he delivered it in a state of ignorance, right? Because you can still be trans without going through the operation. He implied, or he assumed what Dwyane Wade was saying was, oh, you know, my daughter's gonna go through that operation. And so Boosie's like, yo, come on, bruh. Like, please don't chop off the dick, right? I agreed with that statement. Like, at 12 years old, do not mutilate your body at 12. Wait until you're older to make that life-changing decision. That's where I agree with him. However, the way he delivered it was problematic. And because of how he delivered it, I could see Planet Fitness, like the owner or the owners, saying, oh, hell no, he can't come back. He's banned, because people could view that as harmful language.
I think that's the information we need. Was it the owner or was it like a manager?
Either
that,
way,
I don't know.
I mean, even if it was a manager.
Because to me, if you pull up to he could have went to a gas station. They came up, oh, I seen that video. You got to go get gas.
But that's different. You got to understand, like, when you go to a gym, right? Like, like I used to have a membership at Planet Fitness. I now currently have a membership at Crunch, right? Like, I pay like over $300-something a year for that membership. If I knew there was like a known racist that frequently visits my gym, I'm gonna have something to say to the manager. why the fuck is he here? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's making everyone at the gym uncomfortable, this, that, and the third.
Is he being racist in the gym?
Does it matter?
Kinda. Is he? I mean,
I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like,
depends on where the principal is. I don't know, but I guess I'm like, I don't know. To me, it has nothing to do with working out, unless he was like in the gym being disrespectful, or if he came with like mad smoke for no reason. You know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, if he's just going there to do some leg presses, I don't understand why they kicked him out. You know what I mean? But so you saying it's still fake?
Yeah, I think it's fake because I feel like they're justified in their decision. Because honestly, I would make the same decision as a cisgendered man. I would be like, yo, I can't have you here, bro. Like, you a liability, son. Like, what if like a trans person or trans advocate or ally sees him, and then there's like a huge confrontation in my gym, and then it goes viral, and then people are like, oh, word, this is happening, and you know, the Planet Fitness in Mattapan, and I'm like the manager or the owner of the spot. Nah, I can't have that, yo. You know what I'm saying? I gotta shut it down. So it is what it is, man. It sucks for Boosie, but I'm like, yo, come on, bro. I'm pretty sure you're still a millionaire. You could go to like the YMCA or somewhere else. Fitness. You know what I mean? Gold's Gym.
I also wonder, does he have like the $10 or $20?
Yeah, right. Can he break somebody's? Right.
He better have a plus 10. Right? He must have a plus 10 package.
Right. What's interesting is I think it's both real and fake, because I do feel like Boosie has to be held accountable for his problematic statements. Like, I think that his statements were problematic. I think that it was also built off of like a lot of ignorance, and Google is free, and I understand that Google be telling lies sometimes, but you also have the ability to do research and to like educate yourself before making a statement. Also, like, thinking about, you felt the need to share that statement and that view with people, and you have every right to make your views, and I have every right to not fuck with you if I don't agree with your views, and I have every right to not to fuck with you if I feel like your views can be damaging or violent to people who support my business. However, we live in a capitalist society that is full of shit. So I feel like Planet Fitness is doing this is Planet Fitness trying to project it, to try to protect their paper and project some illusion of allyship, when probably a bunch of, their, CEOs or investors like do a lot of things to do violence and harm to black trans women all the time, and, black people in general all the time. And there's no accountability that's held to them because they're invisible, So I feel like, again, they have every right, to protect their business, and they have every right to, hold them accountable for their statements, as people should be held accountable for their statements. But I'm also not going to pat a multi-million-dollar company on the back for just saving their paper. I'm not going to say that you are this morally justified, entity for doing something that is beyond bare minimum. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like real and fake. And Boosie stay jumping on something. Stay
he do.
He
Again,
be panicking.
Again, it's just like,
I feel like some of the old heads, they just want the likes, and they just want you a real one. When's your next mixtape coming out? I'm gonna.
And sometimes practice mindfulness, reflect, also thinking about is it important for me to share my opinion on this statement right now?
Do I have to use such crass language when I could maybe just maybe I have access as a celebrity to reach out to Dwyane Wade personally?
Maybe I could be in my feelings I could be in my feelings.
Got that accent.
But just think about maybe I could be, because the thing is, if you have questions or if you're confused, maybe I could have questions, be angry and be confused. But before I spew this to somebody else, maybe I think about it a little bit.
Just reflect.
But not everybody got that, and you didn't do that, and now you
Hold on, remember what 50 Cent said.
Well,
at the end of the day, I'm just a rapper.
yo,
that's a get out of jail free card. Boosie's just a rapper.
He does. Just a rapper.
He's not a professor.
But he got a brain and he can think. But you can. Everybody is capable of critical thinking. Everybody's capable. Do I need to say this right now?
It's kind of demeaning to say that. I'm just a rapper. Shrug. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's just like when a comedian says, "Well, hey, I'm a comedian, right?" There's certain things afforded to comedians that everyone else just can't do, right? And so, same thing with rappers. Rappers can say outlandish shit. They can say misogynistic shit. And they go, yo, it's just a song. I'm just a rapper. And go,
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Well, a lot of people do. I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's where he lean, yo. Assumes what you got on it, yo.
So yeah, I definitely feel that it's fake. As far as like, was it wrong? No, it wasn't wrong. It was absolutely correct. You know, I can't speak for trans people, but it's just like, not even just speaking like with just trans people, but it's just like, if I have a business and I want people to feel 100% comfortable being there to, you know, do what they came to do, I don't want someone who's known publicly for saying very like bashing, problematic and transphobic things about that community. You know, like, I wouldn't want my clientele feeling uncomfortable. I would feel really passionate about creating like a safe space where people can comfortably do whatever it is that they came to do. So yeah, I think that they were well within their rights to ask him to leave.
So let's just say Boosie's been going to this gym a long time.
It don't matter.
I'm just saying. Let's just say he's a regular
lifetime member.
Let's just say he's been a member for like 2 years.
Like how? But the thing about it is, how much is Boosie struggling? Like,
I mean, he ain't struggling.
I mean, he could he go to another gym. He can have a personal trainer. And like, maybe he needs a sit. Maybe he thought about it. Maybe when he was like, for real, he was sitting in his car thinking about like, maybe I should shut the fuck up sometimes. Like, maybe, I don't know how maybe reflective he was in that statement after that happened.
Yeah, and then I always think about the moments after he hit send. Like, yeah, I feel good about what I just did, and I feel like people gonna look at me like a real OG.
People go on live, yo. That's the problem. So he couldn't even take it back.
Yeah, but
him, Snoop, you know what I mean? It's just like when you see them kind of like reaching the peak where I'm like, you can dial it back now. You don't. Oh, he said it.
I also blame social media because all our uncles say dumb shit. All our uncles say wild shit.
Yeah.
And Boosie is an uncle. That is an uncly ass Negro. He is very uncly. And like, he is very uncly.
Yeah.
And like, we all have uncles. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, I think people need to be held accountable, but like in our culture, you have to remember that these people are in our families and they say dumb shit all the time. And this person who says dumb shit has a social media account. You know?
but even on top of that,
yeah,
Boosie is older than us. He's like in his 40s. Yeah. So you gotta understand, he grew up in a different era. So I feel like we now, like millennials, Gen Zs, we're more aware of the current climate of like social justice and things of that nature. But Gen X's, baby boomers, all of those generations, they're not trying to hear none of that shit. This is like foreign to them. Like, this is so odd. So that's why I'm like, this most likely was Boosie's truth, right? And that's why I was like, he's a rapper. I was like, in jest, but I'm kind of serious at the same time. He's not a professor. He's not an activist. He's not researching things about like gender and sex and all of this. He's not doing none of that. He's just talking from his personal opinion, right? It just happens to be Lil Boosie. And so because it's Boosie, him coming out saying that, it's like, whoa, like a lot of eyes are on him. There's a lot of people that agree with him, just like there's a lot of people that disagree with him. You know, that's what happens when you're a public figure, right?
And you know what, I was just gonna say, like, and you did kind of feel the idea, like, it would have been way more powerful if this just got no likes, no reshares, if it wasn't on the blogs, if it wasn't just on the, we got to hold ourselves accountable too, because we're talking about it and we're giving it light. But if in the same way, like our uncles being uncly, the same way that we just like, all right, just kind of sit with your sit with your moonshine. We got to find the social media way to do that. Like, let's not like.
That's the thing. It's like, that's what I'm saying, because like there's a conflict there, because we do understand that this is somebody who's older. We do understand that this is somebody who is like adapting to a new paradigm. We have to understand that. We also have to understand that this is also somebody who's like faced their own, you know, like victimization in terms of like institutionalization and like, you know, that way of viewing the world has been shaped by things. It's been shaped by experiences. But we also have to hold them accountable. And I think that another thing too is like these older generation, they're not trying to hear that. We have to find ways in which we can sort of redesign this idea that once you reach a certain age, you don't have to grow. Once you reach a certain age, you don't have to continue to exercise some sort of neuroplasticity. Like, you don't have to continue to like learn and continue to strive to understand things that may be difficult or scary to you. You know, so how do we do that? That's a question. Like, how do we do that? And
because there's still
and that's why I'm saying real and fake, because it's like, you know, they're holding somebody accountable, but like let's be honest. This is to protect their check. Yeah. You know, that ain't really doing anything to shift any paradigm. That's like, this is like, I don't want heat to be on us. So again, you know, the result of that means that maybe that is a safer space for people maybe that creates a safer space for people who don't want to have to deal with Lil Boosie, you know, doing the uncle whisper, which is not whispering when, you know, they see them in the gym. Maybe the result of that is something which, you know, creates a safer space for people. But remember, the intention behind it, I'm not gonna cape for you too much. Planet Fitness, but also Planet Fit. I'm really curious, what member was he? Because there's a $10 one, there's a $20 one.
When you look at Planet Fitness, remember their whole motto is Judgement Freeze zone. Yeah. So like they really pride themselves off of like they don't even allow like muscle heads in there, no grunting, no nothing, anything that makes a person feel uncomfortable during the workout. They're shutting all of that down. They even shut down like do-rags and stuff. So like they have like strict rules in Planet Fitness.
They shut down do-rags?
Yeah, bro. Like it's crazy. You know?
Like,
tank tops. They ban a lot of stuff at Planet Fitness. It's like a different type of gym.
If that's the case, then.
But I do have a solution for Boosie, and actually, I'm using the example of Lil Boosie just like a month ago when he was talking about the Black fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi, and when he was like, you know, since y'all using my song, teach me how to shimmy and all that stuff, right? Yeah. And Boosie was, you know, talking about it, and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi actually was telling him like, yo, we'll teach you the song, but you know, you can't throw up the sign because of the meanings behind it and for the organization, this and that third. So this is cool, this is not cool, you know. And he was respectful. He was like, you know what, all right, cool. Hey, yo, and it's like he took it. And mind you, this is Boosie, like the gangster, Boosie the thug, was literally listening to a college-educated black man educating him on ideally dancing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if Boosie could like humble himself for that, I'm pretty sure somebody that represents the trans community could like hit him up, because like he literally did that thing with Kappa Alpha Psi publicly. It was live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I seen that.
Like they could do the same thing. And Boosie like, yo, Boosie, you know what? This was why you messed up. Boom, 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 boom. But I have to say this: I don't believe his statements were transphobic, because from the era of hip hop that he came from. The fact that he could at least say, hey, you know what? If your son what did he say? If your daughter or your son, I can't remember. I'm not calling verbatim, but he was like, if your child wants to be gay, let him be gay. Just don't chop off his dick, dog, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But even that, I was like, you know what? I applaud him, because we grew up in a real homophobic era in the 90s.
But the problem is that that's a very misguided statement. Like, he said this with no merit, having really understood the story. I think that that's kind of obvious in the statement. Like, unless I missed something, Dwyane Wade never said anything about his child's sexual orientation. That seems like to be a misinterpretation. So it's like, I understand like keeping it real and keeping it a buck and everything, but as I get older, I realize that being blunt is not as good of a thing as we think it is. It's not good to say our raw, uneducated ass thoughts the way they are in our mind, the way that they are in our mind. And I think that there needs to be something that happens between the thought and the speaking process, where we say, okay, let me get some updated information on the difference between sexual orientation and gender. For starters, that might just be like a good place to start.
I actually agree with you, but I'm just saying that I don't want to sound like I'm his lawyer or anything. I'm just acknowledging the small progression in his statement, and because
you like give him a millimeter, I'm gonna give him a millimeter.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him an inch. It's up to him if he wants to take a mile. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I don't feel like we should be like, yo, cancel him. It's more like educate him, you know, because a lot of our people are unaware. I'm pretty sure there's people in our families, there's loved ones that we have that think just like him, that we could be like, hey, you know what? When you said this, I think you meant that, or even if you meant that, this is why it's problematic. But, you get what I'm saying?
But the responsibility, I don't think, can fall, because again, like when you're thinking about who gonna have that conversation with your uncle, it can't be your trans cousin. Like that can't be, because that creates a situation where you actually subject yourself to violence at the expense of somebody else. Like, you know, you have everything to lose from like being in a situation where somebody can enact verbal or physical violence on you. and like they don't really have to change. There's no actual real impetus for them to change. So, you know, I do think that it could be helpful for people who are not part of that community, but who can be like, hey, bruh, maybe think about some stuff that you say. I do agree with that. But when we're thinking about like how do we hold people accountable and how we educate people, it's a sticky thing. It's a difficult thing. Like I said, it's a very hard thing when you are dealing with these issues because you do need to call it out. Like there's a difference between like call out culture and like in cancel culture. I do need to call out what you did was wrong. I do need to call out what you did was violent. What I do need to call out what you did was ignorant. But there also has to be a space. And again, this isn't everybody's responsibility. You know, we don't all hold culpability in the same way. But there also has to be a space. Is like I also understand that this is coming from a space of ignorance, and this is also coming from a space of internalizing like very, very oppressive ideologies. This is all part of a huge system of white patriarchy in which you are, you know, a victim of, and then you're also becoming an agent and an ally to this white supremacist like system. You know, so how do I hold you accountable, but also realize your place in that victimization? And like I can do that because I am not a trans person. I can look at that and do that and have that conversation. But I couldn't imagine being a trans person being in that type of a situation where you feel like you have to swallow all of your experience and all of that stuff in order to do that. It's a similar thing, like, as a black person, if somebody says some weird, out-of-pocket racist shit, I am not going to be the one to sit down and explain to you why what you said was wrong. No. I am not doing that.
I mean, I would.
I am not doing like, and the thing about that is that this is the thing, like, when I see black people who are saying some wild stuff, and it doesn't only have to do with gender and sexuality. Like, we have a lot of issues around colonized mindsets with a lot of things. Internalized racism, you know, a very odd understanding of history, which isn't based in research and reality sometimes. I am willing to sit down and have that conversation with another black person with that, despite, you know, the fact that it may be tiring, despite that sometimes their ideas may be, you know, violent towards me and my opinions and my background. I'm willing to do that. I'm not willing to give white people that. I'm just not. And that's why GC, like, you can do that. You can do that. Like, you can do that. And like, there is a nonprofit organization called Overcoming Racism. Matthew Kincaid is an amazing educator who does these workshops in public schools and private schools, you know, training people on racism, white supremacy, and how they're complicit in education and all of that stuff. Like, really, you know, breaks that down, does amazing work around that. That is amazing and essential work. Can I do that? No. I can't do that. I could go to a black school and talk to some black kids about that, but I am not. I'm sorry, Miss O'Hurley. I am not. I am not sitting down with you and explaining.
Like O'Reilly or something.
I am not walking you through that. I just don't have the space. I feel like I have to have limitless patience working with students, I have to have exercise like a phenomenal amount of patience. And I'm willing to give all of that there. There's nothing in my well for that. There's no water left.
I got you.
It's dry. It is parched down
barren.
there. Because I've given all that water away.
Yes,
it's gone.
right.
I don't have
with that. I definitely
feel that 1,000%.
Kind of on that same one. Well, I guess I was alone on the real one.
You maintaining your stance.
Yo, I understand. I have greater understanding, but I think I'm gonna maintain my stance.
But the thing about it is, you also probably interact with the gym late. Like, you know, I can see. I mean, I don't agree with your viewpoint, but I think that for people who don't have to deal with issues of transphobia, and for people who also like go to the gym with their headphones on, do their set, and don't even use the shower because it's not be having some nasty ass showers. So like, I shouldn't have said that out loud. We're just talking about the showers. The one downtown, like I can talk about that one. That's like a little trifling. But like, you know, like seeing how the interaction with people just isn't like that. But then again, you also have to realize that your interaction with that space may be very different from other people's interaction with that space.
Nah, absolutely.
100% facts.
Nah, absolutely. You know, I don't know, man. I mean, I personally still just feel like they ain't have to get
This is what wrong was like. It is what it is, strong and wrong.
Nah, yo, it's not even strong and wrong. It really is just. I think it's a bigger, for me. It's a conversation just surrounding how we use social media. I mean, it's the same thing where people get fired for things that they say online. You know what I mean? It's never been something I agree with. I understand that it happens.
That dude from Papa John's, he got fired because he used the N-word. But yeah. I heard it was not in like a derogatory sense, but he was actually using it in reference to like, I think like back call logs or something like that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he said it in a corporate meeting, everybody was like, damn, you done fucked up. And even though he's the one who founded Papa John's. They kicked him out. They got him out of there. You know what I mean?
John Schnatter, is John Schnatter the founder?
I don't know. You know the dude that be on all them like NFL commercials?
Him. He's like terrible.
Yeah, they got rid of him. They got rid of him. So like, yeah.
Good. So he saw. This is exactly what happened. He saw an opportunity to say that word, and he took it. He jumped at it.
I imagine
because that's what happens. That's what they do. They're like, there's an opportunity. Like it's like, ooh,
they can't
can I read this chapter of Fences?
Now, you know what? I was
like there's an opportunity for me to say that I might jump on it.
At my job, without like disclosing too much information, right? Like I had a case where I had to investigate a professor who used the N-word in a class. It was a videography class, right? Mm-hmm. And so they were watching the film, and the film used the N-word, and a white professor repeated it, right? And literally, I had to meet with this professor, and the whole time they were looking at me like, "What's the problem?" You know, academic freedom, blah, 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 blah. Like, going on a whole dissertation about why they have the right to say it. And then I literally just responded, like, do you understand the difference between intent and impact? And it's like, it clicked, like, right there with the professor. You know, and then the professor hit me with the, you know, when white women hold their chest like this, like, they open up their hands.
Gasp.
They gas, they breathe, and then they just start crying. And I'm like, yo,
you reminded me, like, I work because I work. I'm a professor at Mass Art, and I'm not gonna throw no names, but like you be in situations like that, and it's just like, again, like I have nothing. I have nothing.
You just can't.
I just can't. Yeah, I'm being honest with you. I'm not mad at people that I deal with. Like I literally have like staff members in like faculty that say the same thing that you're saying. They're not gonna do it because you know me. I have like this whole concept of like, yo, maybe I could change everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, yo, I'll give it a shot. At least I plant the seed. If they don't want to listen, hey, it is what it is. But at least I tried. Because I will always say this, right? There was a time when G was sexist. There was a time. Yeah, but shout out to the black women that hit me to a lot of my sexist ways. You feel me? Now imagine if sisters was just like, man now. But imagine if sisters was just like, I ain't dealing with this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like then I would still be in my ignorance. You get what I'm saying? So it kind of takes us, or some of us, to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take this chance and try to educate you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, nah, we'll just send them up the street to you. Nah, but listen, that was real fake. All right, we close that out. I think that was nice. That was a nice little light something.